The late afternoon sun bathed Willow Creek estates in a golden glow, but the tranquility shattered with a sickening saw. It wasn't the crisp thwack of a golf ball from the nearby course. This sound was raw, brutal, splintering, followed by a scream that sliced through the air like a blade. Detective Jake Sullivan, pulling into his driveway after a grueling day unraveling a retail crime syndicate, felt his gut twist. His hand instinctively grazed the holster beneath his jacket, years of police training kicking in over bone-deep exhaustion. Rounding the garage, Jake froze. The scene was a nightmare. His wife, Emily, 7 months pregnant with their first child, was pinned against their front door, her face pale, eyes wide with terror, tears streaming silently. At her feet, the porch and driveway looked like a war zone. Organic eggs, carefully chosen for her pregnancy diet, were smashed, their yolks pooling like blood. Ripe berries were crushed into a pulpy mess. A loaf of artisan bread, Emily's latest CRAVYing, lay torn apart. Worst of all, a shattered amber bottle of prenatal VY Tamanseach, pill of promise for their unborn daughter scattered like lost jewels amidst the wreckage. Towering over the chaos was Margaret Voss, the iron-fisted president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association. Her silver hair, usually a perfect helmet, was askew, her face twisted with a rage that was almost gleeful. In her hands, a gleaming 9-iron golf club slammed down repeatedly onto Emily's grocery bags, each thud punctuated by Margaret's venomous shrieks. "Filth! Disease! Your disgusting breeding is a plague on this neighborhood." Jake's heart roared with fury, but his training snapped into place. "Voss, drop the weapon. Now!" His voice, honed in countless life-or-death moments, cut through her tirade like a whip. Margaret froze, the club raised, her hate-filled eyes locking onto him. The malice in her gaze was chilling, unnatural. Jake's mind raced, saw what kind of twisted obsession drives someone to attack a pregnant woman's groceries with such hatred. Jake was no stranger to darkness. As a lead investigator in the city's retail crime unit, he dissected shoplifting rings, fraud schemes, and senseless vandalism daily. He was damn good at its harp, meticulous, respected. But home was his sanctuary, where he and Emily, a kind-hearted architect with a radiant smile, were preparing for their daughter, Ava Grace. Emily's pregnancy was a journey of quiet joy, despite the aches and hormonal storms. Her diet organic greens, lean proteins, doctor-prescribed vitamins was a labor of love for their baby. Willow Creek, with its manicured lawns and top-rated schools, seemed the perfect place to raise Ava. They hadn't counted on Margaret Voss. Margaret ruled the HOA like a dictator, her golf cart patrolling the streets like a predator. Her severe pantsuits and immobile hair screamed rigidity. From the moment Jake and Emily moved in, Margaret's disapproval was clear, especially as Emily's pregnancy became VY Cybele. It started small snide comments about noise a baby would bring, pointed remarks about property values. At a block party, she'd sneered at Emily's belly, voice dripping with fake concern. Pregnancy does change a figure, doesn't it? One mustn't let oneself go. Jake brushed it off as petty meddling, urging Emily to ignore her. He hadn't yet grasped the depth of Margaret's loathing for pregnancy itself. A month earlier, the first real warning came. Emily, exhausted in her second trimester, was resting on a community bench by the pond when Margaret's golf cart glided up. "Mrs. Sullivan," she'd snapped, "lingering on public seating is against HOA policy. These benches aren't for lounging." Emily, flustered, explained her need to rest. Margaret's eyes, cold as stone, flicked over her. "Pregnancy is a choice, not a disability. If you can't handle public spaces, stay home until your SAW condition resolves." The contempt in her voice left Emily shaken, but she begged Jake to let it go, desperate to avoid stress. Margaret's hostility only grew. At the 4th of July potluck, Emily's VY Brandt salad packed with organic greens became a target. Margaret, playing food critic, paused theatrically, nose wrinkled. "More roughage? So saw wholesome saw. One hopes its clean bacteria wouldn't do for someone in your delicate sauce state. Her sarcasm drew awkward glances, but no one dared challenge her. Emily's cheeks burned, the public jab cutting deep. Then came the HOA violation notice. Jake and Emily had installed a flagstone walkway for easier access during her pregnancy and for future stroller use, with full HOA approval. Yet Margaret's certified letter demanded they demolish it, claiming the stone's color OLAT earth tone rules. It was a lie, a blatant attempt to harass. Jake hired a lawyer, and a blistering legal threat forced the HOA to back down. But Margaret's vendetta was clear. Emily's pregnancy was her obsession. That afternoon, as Emily unloaded groceries, Margaret appeared, her face ghostly pale, eyes blazing. Her screams about vulgar breeding and parasitic offspring escalated into a frenzy. She stormed into her garage, emerging with a 9-iron, and began smashing the groceries, chanting, "Maternity is a disease. It must be purged." Emily, paralyzed by fear, could only watch as her baby's nourishment was destroyed. Jake shielded Emily, guiding her inside, then called 911, reporting the assault and requesting medics. With grim precision, he documented the scene, photographing the wreckage, bagging the club for fingerprints. Paramedics confirmed Emily was physically unharmed but shaken. Patrol officers took statements, approaching Margaret, who paced her lawn defiantly. She refused to speak without her lawyer. That evening, a game-changer emerged. A neighbor, Harold Grayson, a retired engineer, had recorded the entire attack. His video captured Margaret's tirade, her dash for the club, and the destruction, her voice clear, "Maternity is a plague. I'll cleanse this neighborhood." Jake and Detective Laura Hayes watched the footage, fury and resolve hardening. "This is a hate crime," Jake said, voice steely. "She targeted Emily for being pregnant. I want the DA on this now." The next morning, armed with the video, witness statements, and Jake's evidence, Detective Hayes and Jake arrested Margaret. Her slick attorney, Victor Crane, tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, but Jake cut him off. "Your client was recorded destroying my wife's towel supplies, screaming that pregnant women are parasites. This is a hate-fuel crime." Margaret's composure cracked, her screams about property values and decency damning her further. Handcuffs clicked, and her reign ended as she was led to a patrol car. The legal battle was fierce. Margaret's team claimed insanity, then a conspiracy, but psychiatric evaluations showed only narcissism and antisocial traits. The video, forensic analysis, and Emily's brave testimony detailing the terror and harassment sealed her fate. The jury convicted her on felony charges, including hate crime enhancements. The judge, voice ringing with tie-in, sentenced her to the maximum term, mandated therapy, and barred her from HOA roles forever, condemning her abhorrent attack on a pregnant woman. Emily's recovery was slow. Nightmares and anxiety lingered, but Jake's love, therapy, and surprising community support helped her heal. Willow Creek, shamed by Margaret's actions, transformed. The HOA board was replaced with inclusive leaders, new rules banned harassment, and neighbors rallied around Emily with gifts and apologies. Months later, Ava Grace was born, a beacon of hope in a renewed community. Margaret's hatred, ironically, sparked change. Willow Creek emerged kinder, stronger, united. Holding Ava, Jake felt peace, the echoes of violence replaced by his daughter's soft sighs. But questions linger. Was Margaret's punishment enough? Should the community have stopped her sooner? Could Emily have been spared? What drives such hatred, and how do we prevent it? Share your thoughts, like, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation alive.